Is this fun or what? Don't you love to learn? I can't help it. I get a gas out of learning. Hopefully I don't get gas while learning. Oh, that wasn't nice, was it? Okay, now, the terminology between gods, angels, judges, the terminology between various classes, different kinds of divine beings. Heiser is analyzing this on page 19, and he says, a tagged computer search of the Dead Sea Scrolls database, this reveals that there are no lines from any Qumran text where a deity class term. Now, the deity class term is one of my very favorite Hebrew words in the entire world, Elohim. This is a deity class word, Elohim, or the other word is Elim. Elohim or Elim. He says this deity class word in the Dead Sea Scroll database, this is the complete collection of all Dead Sea Scrolls. He says for a member, this class term Elohim, for a member of the heavenly host, no Hebrew text in the Dead Sea Scrolls overlaps with the word Malachim. The Malachim are the angels. He says there is no overlap with these terms in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Elohim are always consistently, steadfastly, totally, completely gods. The Malachim are the angels. These are never overlapped. They are never interchangeable. Never. And he says, in the Qumran corpus, in fact, there are only 11 instances in the entire Qumran corpus where the Elim or the Elohim and the Malachim occur within 50 words of each other. They are not synonyms. No, 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 no. Wrong answer. He says, 8 of these occurrences have Elohim as referring to the singular God of Israel. The 3 instances that remain do not clearly evince a semantic overlap of the terms due to their fragmentary or obscure nature. Because what we have in the Dead Sea Scrolls, of course, are tens of thousands of fragments, yes. Well, given the data, it's difficult to argue on the basis of textual evidence that a Jewish writer of the post-exilic or the Second Temple period understood the terms of Elohim or Elim as angels. They did not. They did not. They understood these terms as their proper Hebrew says, gods. Plural. Divine beings. Gods. He means this. He insists on this. He says, they are not interchangeable. This is a scholarly assumption in both the Dead Sea Scrolls and our Hebrew Bible. Very interesting. And on page 20. Second, material from Qumran and other Second Temple period texts unmistakably speak of a second deity-level co-regent alongside the God of Israel, albeit under his ultimate sovereignty. And he brings out the 11Q Melchizedek. Hey, I've done some videos on 11Q Melchizedek, so I get to play around with some Dead Sea Scrolls with you here. This identifies the singular Elohim in the 11Q Melchizedek. This word right up there, Elohim, the 11Q Melchizedek, identifies the Elohim as a member of the divine council seen in Psalm 82:1. Melchizedek is called Elohim, not Yahweh, in the 11Q Melchizedek. And I think I've noted that in some other videos. The writings of Philo. Now, he was a Jewish Christian who wrote in Christ's day. He was basically an eyewitness of say, the theology, if you will, of the Jews. Because as Robert Eisenman says in his analysis of the Dead Sea Scrolls, in his book, James, the brother of Jesus, he says that in Jesus' day there were no Christians. I got news for you, folks. Jesus was not a Christian. Sorry. That's just not how it works. He was a Jew. Definitely. So anyway, Philo transparently espoused a second divine being in the Hebrew Bible. That Yahweh had a vice-regent. Philo refers to them as two gods, which is a synonym for two powers in rabbinical thought later. Very interesting here. He also calls certain angels divine. He refers to the Logos as God. Now look at how... I'll do a quick erase here. I even get to show off and write some Greek. Woohoo! He refers to God as Theos. Theos. Philo. He says the Logos as God. Theos. And a second God. He calls him Deuteron Theon. Deuteron Theon. A second God. Truly. And he positively associates the Logos with the second power in heaven. Utterly fascinating. Absolutely incredible. Well, Eusebius himself is the one that said that Philo gets the credit for calling the... he credits Philo with the term second God, denoting the Logos. Philo was very careful, however, to note that the Logos was not the God of Israel himself, but he was the visible form of Yahweh. Now that's utterly fascinating, isn't it not? That is so interesting how that works. So anyway, and he goes through some other literature. Goes more about the second God. The cultic worship of any other being than Yahweh is what is forbidden. Oh, now this is interesting. He says, on page 21 and 22, he says, cultic worship of any other being other than Yahweh is what is forbidden, in accord with Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 6, the Shema, where it says, Yahweh alone is our God. Yahweh Eloheinu, he is our God. Eloheinu is the plural for our. Our. It's a possessive. He's our God. The other gods exist. We don't care about them. Our God is Yahweh. That's the essence of the Shema, according to Heiser here. Very interesting. And yes, page 22. Yeah, this is right in the middle of where I wanted to go to. With respects to attempt a redefinition of monotheism, he says, by scholars of the Hebrew Bible. Incidentally, he says, the result of all the scholarly emphasis on the restriction of worship to one divine being is still monolatry, not monotheism. Very interesting there. That's quite interesting. Monotheism on ancient terms. This is page 22. I gotta make sure you get this. Monotheism on the ancient terms now. This does not nullify the affirmation that other deity-level beings exist. Wow. Wow. It is hardly ever appropriate to use the term monotheism to describe the Jewish idea of God. Wow. That's pretty good. Hey, here, who's he quoting here? Hang on here. Let me get my reference. He adds, P. Heyman. Of course, P. Heyman. Now, he says this on page 23. He's quoting P. Heyman here. Oh, man, get out of here, Miller.